Hello, true believers, and welcome to my channel, Mr. Miracle Comics. My name is Dave, and today I've got 10 undervalued books that are viewers' picks. Again, if you don't know, I've been running an 80th anniversary Batman giveaway, and part of the contest is viewers have to tell me 2 undervalued books. So I've taken a bunch of my viewers' picks that they've recommended, and I put together today's videos with 10 of them. So let's get started because there's a lot of books to go through. First book on the list, it comes from the 88 Jester, and I think he's right on the money when he says to pick A Man Called Nova #1, which is also the first appearance of Richard Rider. So the MCU has been talking a lot about going cosmic. We've already seen a few shades of the Nova Corps showing up, and if the Nova Corps shows up, Richard Rider is going to be there. Good chance that Richard Rider will show up in the MCU in the next 5 to 10 years, I would believe, right? As one of those characters that they encounter in the whole cosmic scheme of things. So I think that's a really good pick for the 88 Jester. I paid $15 for that one. You can see the price there. So you can still find deals on this book out there. It's still a little bit under the radar. It's getting to be much more of a known book, but definitely worth still picking up right now. So good pick, Jester, or the 88 Jester. All right, so the next book on my list comes from Kenny over at Comic Head 84's channel, and that is the Fantastic Four #67, which is the first appearance or full appearance of him. Him eventually becomes Adam Warlock in much later issues. He's got quite a convoluted origin story that spans several comic books, but this is our first full appearance of him. Okay, and that is Fantastic Four #67. It's from 1967, and you can still find this book for under $100. It's a pretty safe bet that, again, with all this cosmic stuff that the MCU is going to go towards, we're going to see Adam Warlock. James Gunn really likes the character and wants to put him in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Whenever that movie happens to happen, I think we're going to see Adam Warlock. So this book should see a big spike, as well as you probably should be picking up Thor #165, which has the first appearance of Adam Warlock as a character, not just a cocoon kind of thing. Okay, so, but definitely a good pick by Kenny over at Comic Head 84. You want to buy this book sooner than later, because if Adam Warlock shows up, this one's going to see a big spike. At Thor 165, we're going to see a big spike. Okay. Next comes from, sorry, let me take a look. Sergio Reyes, Reyes. And Sergio picked Conan the Barbarian #37. I really like this as a pick. If you don't know, Neil Adams worked on 4 different issues of Conan the Barbarian. 2 he was just involved in covers. 1 he had a partial working with the inkings and some penciling with in #44. But this is the only Conan the Barbarian issue where he does the cover, he does all the interior pencils, and he does all the interior inking. So this is the only full Neil Adams Conan the Barbarian issue. And you can still buy this book for, less than $10, no problem. In really nice shape. Love this cover. Look at that dramatic Neil Adams cover. Right? First Neil Adams cover for Conan the Barbarian. You'll have witch skull in the back. Anyway, great pick, Sergio. I'm a big fan of artists first and artist stuff, not just characters that show up first or anything like that, but actual work that the artists and writers do. So I really like this as a pick, and definitely a cheap book that you can still find. Conan the Barbarian, #37 from 1974. Awesome. All right, #4 on our list. It comes from a gentleman named Brick Hunter, and it is The Eternals #2. Right, so we all know the Eternals movie is coming up soon. A lot of people are gravitating towards buying that Eternals 1 or Eternals 1. Eternals #2 is a great pick as well. It has the first appearance of the Celestials in it, And if they're going cosmic and they want to explain mutants and mankind and where the Eternals come from and all this stuff, they all come from the Celestials, right? It was the Celestials experimenting with mankind that created mutants and the Titans and the Deviants and all this stuff. Okay, so there's a lot of history that's around the Celestials in that whole early Marvel Comics sort of canon, which includes the Eternals. So really good pick. Like I said, a lot of people are specking on number 1 and kind of ignoring number 2, which they shouldn't, because this is a great pick for an undervalued book that you could still get this for about a third the price that you can get number 1 for. Okay, so Eternals number 2, and that is from 1976. Okay, we have another Eternals book for pick number 5. This pick comes from Mark Spector, and it is the Eternals number 11, which has the first appearance of Droog, which is the big kind of bad guy. He's the cousin of Icarus, who's going to be one of the lead characters in the Eternals. He has a lot to do, and the movie rumor is that Droog is going to be one of the big bad guys in the Eternals film. I paid $5 for this book. That's a really recent price. I only picked this up like 2 weeks ago based on Mark's recommendations. I'm going to start picking up lots of copies of this if they're only $5. So yeah, really good movie spec pick coming up. Again, a lot of people are picking up that Eternals number 1, Eternals number 3 a little bit, but they're ignoring the rest of the series. Don't ignore this series. It has lots and lots and lots of first appearances throughout the whole thing. And this is a really good one. Pick this one up before other people start really getting on top of it. That is Eternals number 11, and it is from 1977. Okay, so don't pay a whole lot for this. Like I said, I paid $5. That was only a couple weeks ago, and that was from a comic shop. So their prices are usually a little higher than most. Okay, number 6 on our list. This one, it comes from Tomb of Comics, and it's from 1987, Wonder Woman number 9. Okay, I agree with Tomb of Comics on this. In the upcoming Wonder Woman 1984 movie, this cheetah is speculated to be the villain. Okay, so a lot of people are picking up number 6, which is the first appearance of Barbara Minerva, but she doesn't become the cheetah until number 9. So when you pick up number 6, to me, that's like picking up the first appearance of just a regular person, right? She's not the supervillain until number 9, and people are really going nuts on number 6, but you can still pick up number 9 for about a third the cost, right? So around the $10-15 range max for this one. But yeah, really kind of weird when people, I think, don't pick the actual like villain character in costume kind of villain. They want to spec on just the character's regular persona. Weird to me. I personally, I would much rather have the villain appearance rather than Barbara Minerva's appearance. I'd rather have the first appearance of Cheetah. And again, Wonder Woman number 9, volume number 2 from 1987. Awesome. Great pick from Tomb of Comics there. So the next pick is the oldest pick on my list. It comes from a gentleman named Rob M. And I really like this book. I've spec'd on this book earlier, and I've just brought it up again after Rob M. did, because it's such a great book. And it is from 1958, and it is Challengers of the Unknown number 3. And if you know anything about this book, you will see that this book is the first prototype appearance of the Fantastic Four. This book predates the Fantastic Four, and it was what Jack Kirby was working on right before he came over to Marvel Comics. So in this DC comic, in the Challengers, one of the Challengers goes up into space. He's bombarded by cosmic rays and suddenly given superpowers like the ability, like flame manipulation and the ability to turn invisible. Where have we heard stuff like this before? as well as the team itself, is very much the Fantastic Four, with the very smart professor running everything, the lovable tough guy, the brash young man, right? We start to see how this really is the Fantastic Four, and especially knowing that this was the last DC book that Jack Kirby was working on right before he came over to Marvel Comics. So, prototype appearance of the Fantastic Four, it's hard to deny it, right? And you can still find this book in decent condition, even for its age, for less than $100. Okay, so Challengers of the Unknown, number 3 from 1958. Great pick there. Have to agree with you on that one, Rob M. So my next book, we're gonna jump up 30 years and go for Unruly Simeon's pick, which is Ronin number 1 from 1983. So this is a great Frank Miller book, and it is like in his comments, Unruly Simeon was saying, this book is really ripe for a movie, and I gotta agree with him, right? You could pick this book up for dirt cheap, and if it turns around and suddenly there's a movie called Ronin, how awesome is that, man? This is some of Frank Miller's best writing. I really enjoy this limited series. Definitely one to pick up, and you can find this book for easy under $10, right? In very mint condition. So don't pay a whole lot for this book, but it's a good one to put on your list. If you see a nice copy for cheap, snap it up, right? So that's a really good pick by Unruly Simeon. My next pick comes from John's Comics with Kids, and he spec'd on G.I. Joe number 21, which is the Silent Interlude issue. Okay, this book is from 1984. It is the first appearance of Storm Shadow. So Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, well, they're going to have Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow movie coming out next summer, right? And it's a reboot of the whole thing. They're getting rid of all that cheesy stuff. Seems really positive with what the things they're saying about how it's going to be a reboot. And I mean, it's going to be a ninja movie, man. When is the last time we saw a really, good ninja movie? When I was 12 years old, ninjas were the rage. Every 12-year-old loved ninjas. I was one of them. And definitely, hopefully that'll start coming back, because, I haven't seen a really good ninja movie in a long time. Harkens me back, like I said, to early 80s when American Ninja Warrior and stuff was like that, not the athletic television show, but the actual movie, or American Ninja. And yeah, anyways, so G.I. Joe 21, there's 3 different prints of this book that you can get. First print will always have the UPC, okay? I also have a copy of the third print, and that'll have the black Spider-Man face right here where the UPC code is. The second print, which I don't have yet, will have a white Spider-Man face right here where the UPC goes. And there's also this book, which I have a copy of. It's a little rough, but still a good copy to have, which is the Canadian price variant. So the 75-cent Canadian price variant. Also a good spec to pick up. Only about a tenth of the books were printed with the 75-cent. So this is almost like a 1 in 10 variant. Almost. Kind of where the numbers run up when you take into consideration the Canadian price variant. As well as availability in the United States becomes much more difficult, right? As most of those issues were sold in Canada. Anyway, so additionally with this number 21, you should also consider picking up G.I. Joe number 1, okay, which is the first appearance of Snake Eyes, right? So you want to have his first appearance in there as well. And you should consider picking up G.I. Joe number 26, okay, which has Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow's origin story in it, which is most likely what the movie is going to be based around. So they've taken kind of a lesson from Marvel, and they're not just going to hit you with this big G.I. Joe movie with fucking 50 characters and all these weird vehicles and stuff going on and craziness, right? They're going to boil it down to get you started, and they're going to do a character movie based around Snake Eyes, essentially, right? Which I'm really excited for. Obviously, you can see my Snake Eyes tattoo there, my Shirokage tattoo. But yeah, so I think that's a smart move, and I have really high hopes for this G.I. Joe reboot, because G.I. Joe is just an excellent, excellent series. It meant a lot to me when I was a kid, and I think it means a lot to a lot of other people as well who are, roughly my age and even older. So to see G.I. Joe, and especially a Snake Eyes movie and a Ninja movie, I'm super excited about this happening next summer. Excellent. And the last book that we're going to pick today is from the Comic Smurf again. So Caleb, he went above and beyond. He put about 6 different undervalued books on his on his list for stuff. But there was quite a few I agree with for Caleb's picks. And one of the ones that I want to bring up again is King Size Avengers Annual number 10. Okay, so this is the first appearance of Rogue, with Rogue showing up, or with the X-Men showing up in the MCU in the next, 5 years. I wouldn't expect to see the X-Men, anytime soon. You might start seeing individual characters, but an actual X-Men movie will take a while. I know the Phoenix is coming out this year, but they're going to downplay that, I bet you, quite a bit, and hopes to kind of let her cool off and then reboot it in the MCU. Rogue is a very, very popular character throughout the 80s and early 90s, all the way up into 2000s, and she should definitely show up. And hopefully they won't, Bryan Singer her and do her wrong like Bryan Singer did. I was really disappointed with how they treated Rogue in those original X-Men movies. Not that those movies were terribly bad or anything like that, but some of the character treatments weren't my favorite, including Rogue. So hopefully they'll do Rogue properly. And her first appearance is here in King Size Annual number 10. You can still get this book for $30, $50 max, and that's in really nice condition. But the moment that Rogue shows up in the MCU, watch this book take a big, big jump. Okay, so great pick, Caleb. And that has been 10 undervalued comic books viewers picks. Okay, so that was a lot of books for me to run through. I think this is my biggest undervalue showed yet. Really appreciate everybody who's entered so far. If you haven't put in an entry, the entries, you have to put your entry in before May 3rd, 2019, Pacific Standard Time, midnight. I appreciate watching. If you're watching this after the contest, stay tuned. Maybe you'll see more contests coming up. Not maybe, you will see more contests coming up on my channel, and you'll have a chance to enter into a later one. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. My name is Dave. This has been Mr. Miracle Comics, 10 undervalued viewers picks books. I'll see you next video.